In March 1921, the Abkhazian Bolsheviks and part of the Red Army captured Sukhum, Gagra and several coastal cities. A year later, Abkhazia, without agreement of its leaders, became part of Georgia. In the second half of the 30s, the first leaders of Red Abkhazia were killed or repressed. The process of urbanization and collectivization was in a full swing. Funds were siphoned from small villages for the improvement of cities. The construction of Stalinist houses, factories and plants began. Directly in Gagra, Soviet sanatoriums began to open to provide rest for the working class. One of these sanatoriums in our time has become the most famous abandon of Abkhazia. We are talking about the sanatorium of Georgia. In 1955, after Stalin's death, but even before the construction of below Khrushchev's buildings began, this sanatorium was built. The incredible project for that time. Damn it, even now it strikes the imagination. A large palace erected on the slope of Bachika mountain, intended for the rest of ordinary proletarians. Well, now only ruins remain of the former greatness. The sanatorium has become a heaven for homeless people, stalkers and teenagers. The building is trying to function in the form of a boarding house, Gagribsh, but everything is in vain. Attracting the attention of the ordinary tourists and also adventure finders. It's a fact that Bolsheviks urbanized the country. In Stalin time, schools, libraries, theaters and houses of culture were built. In Khrushchev's time, panel high-rise buildings, sanatoriums and boarding houses into what is now. Life in Gagra has become more comfortable with the arrival of Red, but the Soviet leadership brutally killed the charm of that Abkhazia, which we're talking about in the last video. Khrushchev's and Stalin architecture and factories do not suit this city at all. This is rather controversial situation. To better understand it, you need to look at what has become of the mindless Soviet legacy now. But nothing. Many buildings are destroyed, most of them don't make their functions. For example, an abandoned cinema with a collapsed roof. It stands in the middle of the city, it's not guarded by anyone, everybody can enter, and as you might guess, its reconstruction is also not planned. It just is. Old, abandoned and useless. The factory stands overgrown with greenery, the cladding of building is cracking, the foundations are down, and the walls are covered with moss, mold and vines. The new infrastructure is not being built and the governments throw their hands. Often, local people try to explain all the troubles of Abkhazia by the Georgian-Abkhaz conflict. For those who don't know, I will explain. During the excitement of USSR, Abkhazia was autonomic subject of Soviet Georgia. Just like another country of this conflict, South Ossetia. After the collapse of country, Ossetia was wanted to become an independent. In the course of the fierce battles, with the support of Russia, South Ossetia received its independence. Abkhazia decided to follow the same path, but not everything turned out to be so smooth. Georgia, which didn't want to lose the territory of Abkhazia, and attempts to overthrow the government. As a result, the Abkhazian troops were able to seize part of the country's territory and get involved in a 2-year conflict with Georgia. Later, with the support of Russia, Abkhazia declares war on Georgia, and quickly, in 5 days, get a victory, gaining all territory its country owns. As a result of the conflict, several thousand people died, some regions were destroyed, and the relation between Georgia and Abkhazia deteriorated forever. The situation between countries is tense now. The house of the Soviet officials, which have become a local attraction, remain untouched by old age and war. For example, this green building is nothing more than the home of Joseph Stalin.
Небо утреннего стяг, жизни важен первый шаг. Слышишь, реют над страною ветры яростных атак. И вновь продолжает собой, и сердцу тревожно в груди. И Ленин такой молодой, и юный октябрь впереди.
Now this place is teeming with tourists, and excursions go here regularly. Comrade Stalin didn't lie badly. He has home, that is right. Space and renovation, modern technique by those time, custom-made furniture. Mind the father of revolution. But we have to admit, despite the fact that Stalin held the post of general secretary, his home is much more modest than the same palace of the Prince Oldenburgsky. Also from the Soviet project, the colonnade can be noted. The Gagra colonnade is a beautiful multi-arch structure, over 60 meters long, built in Moorish style. As in many countries of the East, the Abkhazian marts deserve special attention. Probably due to the large flow of foreigners, the marts of Abkhazia are so big. We visited the central Gagra marts and were surprised. You can find literally everything here. Spices, herbs, meat, fish, fabric, clothes, shoes, homemade toys, fruits, vegetables are here. The local assortment is widespread. Perhaps only here you can buy homemade products or unique souvenir. This is not supermarket for you. You need to build new relationship with each seller, because there are not fixed price here. Locals are happy to bargain, make new offers and change conditions right at the time of deal. Everyone, as best he can, tries to attract your attention. It is impossible to get out here without spending a couple of hundreds or maybe thousands of rubles. So we who just came into to look came out the market of the bags with products. Even our equipment, in which we died in the first video, was bought here. The last day of staying in Gagra we had spent in our rooms. The weather has deteriorated badly. It rained for several days, and high waves rose on the beach, flooding the surrounding areas. Even our bags, which were very far from the water, were watered by the wave. In the first episode, I said that those concrete blocks don't help to cope with waves at all. Therefore, it remained to be guessed about their purpose. During the thunderstorm, in waves, along with various kind of marine trash, a lot of such small beasts are thrown onto the coast. I have no idea who they are. Maybe plankton, maybe small shrimps, but they move very quickly and it's very difficult to remove them.
Давай, давай, вон, смотри, большой тебе сделает бассейн. Шире, шире.
Well, our adventure has come to an end. What can I say? Abkhazia is a fantastic country with its own characteristic, advantages and disadvantages. The trip here was definitely a positive experience. For almost the entire expedition, I walked with my mouth open and admired like a child every little thing. I strongly advise everyone to visit this city. You will pleasantly surprised. We try to very hard making our videos for you. We will waiting for your answers, compliments and criticism. Subscribe to our channel and waiting to new videos. See you later.